Hello everyone, this is Swarup, Assistant Professor from Mechanical Department. So design of machinery means two. So this is subject. So today we will be reading the topic of bearings. This is lecture 5. So today we will be solving few problems on hydrodynamic bearings. So the data handbook used is a fourth edition by Balveer Reddy. Yes. So design procedure of journal bearings. So the procedure for journal bearings remains little bit different with respect to the type of questions they will be asking. So this is the basic steps that you have to remember and which will be common for all the type of design problems related to journal bearings. Okay. So the bearing load, that is speed, is given. Okay. So based on a given machinery, note down the parameters. So for example, if he has given the type of material, so you have to go to the page number 366 from the data handbook, that is table 15.7. Okay. So there you have to note down the maximum pressure, viscosity, Zn by P value, C by R and L by D. So these are the parameters that you have to note down for solving for the problem. Okay. So second step is, if the diameter is unknown, calculate the diameter D, okay, by using this formula. So if the diameter is known, calculate P and check whether the table value P is less than P maximum. The maximum pressure which you will be assuming, okay, or you will be taking from the table. So that value must be always greater than the calculated value. That is, this is the calculated value from the step B. Okay. Now step C, the type of oil. So based on Z from this table, that is 366 page number 15.7. Okay. So for example, determine the type of oil using, if you go to page number 363, that is table number 15.1, there we will be having a different types of oils with respect to the type of curves, A, B, C, D and all, and towards the right side we will be having the specific gravity at 15 degrees of a oil. Okay. So that table is very useful for determining the type of oil. Okay. Next is assuming suitable value of oil temperature. Suppose if operating temperature is being not given by this question, so that you can assume it for your further solving the problem. Next is bearing modulus. So bearing modulus means Zn by P. So this term we will be taking it as a bearing modulus, that is the value notation we will be taking it as a C. Okay, and compare it with the table value in step A. Okay, since the minimum value of C, okay, at which the film breaks is 3 times the calculated value. Okay, since the minimum value, it means the Zn by P which you are calculating, it must be divided by 3 times. It means your C must be greater than the C minimum. It means bearing operates under hydrodynamic lubrication. Okay. So this is a little bit important step to determine whether hydrodynamic lubrication is necessary or not for a bearing. Next is calculate the Sommerfeld number. Okay. So this Sommerfeld number is very much important to determine from the graph, okay, different values with respect to the y-axis. Okay. So this we will be solving during example problems. Okay. So there we will be using different types of graphs with respect to the Sommerfeld number, okay, to find the value which is in the y-axis. Next is calculate coefficient of friction. Coefficient of friction can be calculated using different formulas. So this is one of the formula, that is we call it as McKee's formula. Similarly we go with the Boyd and Diamond curves. So even that also we can go for this, and there are different procedures. So even from the graphs also we can find a coefficient of friction. Depends on the values which will be given from the question. Next is calculate the minimum film thickness H0. Okay, as I told you, with respect to Sommerfeld numbers, we can go with the different values of H0 with respect to the graph which we will be taking from the curves when beta is equals to certain degree. Okay. Next is calculate the heat generated. So if the bearing will be running it for a long time at different speeds, okay, probably at higher speeds, there will be heat generation that must be extracted from the bearing. Okay. So there will be heat generated between the bearings, and there will be heat dissipation also from the bearing. So that you need to calculate, and if you differentiate these two, okay, so if it is greater than the heat dissipation, so then you need to provide the artificial cooling for the bearing to reduce the temperature of the oil. Okay. So this is a basic design procedure of a journal bearings that you may have to remember. Okay, so it depends on the type of questions they will be asking. You have to remember these basic steps, okay, in your mind, and to solve the problem. Okay, so now let's go to the problem. Okay, so the very first constraint is if the diameter is unknown. Okay, so for example in the problem if diameters are not given, so how to solve this we will go through now. So we design a journal bearing for a centrifugal pump. So he has given the centrifugal pump will be the application. Okay, now load on the journal bearing, speed of the bearing, and ambient temperature he has given. So for centrifugal pump, okay, so that is if you go to page number 366, that is 15.7. So this is the table from the data handbook, you can see here directly. Okay, so from here if you check the table that is for centrifugal pumps, okay, so there you will be getting directly, you can see here at the last centrifugal pump 17. Okay, so there if you check the maximum pressure, that is P, that is 0.7 to 1.4. okay, similarly you can take the maximum pressure as 1.4. Similarly you can take the suitable Z value, that is 0.025. okay, next Zn by P as 29.01, next C by R as 0.0013, L by D as 1 to 2. Usually you can take L by D as 1.5. okay, so this is a little bit important step that you have to note it down from the table for further solving the problem. Okay, so this is clear. So the machinery he will be giving, for example in previous classes which I taught as a diesel engine which is being given, so these are the values which have been taken. Okay, so clearly you have to mention here centrifugal pump, from this table we have taken these values. Okay, next is to find the value of diameter. As you know the diameter is unknown, first you have to find the value of diameter. How to find the diameter? The pressure is known, radial load is known, okay, and L is known. Okay, so L by D we have taken 1.5. So L is nothing but 1.5 into D. If you substitute here, we will be getting 1.5 into D square. Simultaneously, if you find the value of D, we will be getting 70 mm. Okay, so once you get the value of diameter, if you cross check with L by D value, you get the L value as 105 mm. Okay, so next is type of oil, that is ZK value. Similarly, we know that here Z is known, correct? So Z is known from here, you can directly substitute back here to find the value of viscosity, kinematic viscosity. Okay, now as I told you, you have to assume certain operating temperatures. Okay, so usually you can assume the operating temperature and density as 70 degrees and 0.9. Okay, to find the value of, okay, Zk is nothing but 0.025 divided by 0.9. You will substitute Zk. So Zk you can substitute here, it will be coming converting into kinematic viscosity. Now this kinematic viscosity is very much important, because here in this table, in this graph, the y-axis you can see here, the kinematic viscosity is in terms of centistokes. So Zk dash represents the kinematic viscosity in centistokes. So this is very much important. These units are important because the graph, it belongs to kinematic viscosity is in terms of centistokes. Okay, now how to find the type of oil? Okay, at 70 degree, that is operating temperature that we have assumed, and Zk dash value. If you cross check the both, for example if you go to the y-axis, that is Zk dash. Okay, for Zk dash it is 27 point somewhere around here, so in nearly 70 degrees, so this is 70 degrees, so check where exactly it matches. So it will cross check the value of E. Okay, so that is figure, this one, this is the figure. So don't worry, for example if you get for any different curve also, no problem. It depends on the type of values which we get for assumptions, different assumptions. Okay, assumptions are very much important in this case to find the values. Okay, so just understand the procedure, don't exactly cross check the values. Okay, so once you get the value of E, similarly if you go to the table number 363, page number 15.1, corresponding to the values of at 70 degrees, corresponding to the values of curve E, if you cross check you will be getting SAE 20. So this is the type of oil which we will be using for lubrication. Okay, So next is bearing modulus C. So bearing modulus, as you all know, Zn by P. Okay, first find out the values of Zn by P. Okay, so you know the value of Zn and P, so that is 16.09. But from the table, Zn by P, that is minimum value of bearing modulus is 29.01. Okay, but the minimum value of C at which the film breaks is 3 times the calculated value. It means you have to divide it by 3. Okay, so you have to divide it by 3 in such a way that it this value, that is C value, must be greater than this value. Okay, so then bearing operates under hydrodynamic lubrication. That is a statement you have to give. Okay, so this is little bit important step. Okay, so next is Sommerfeld number. So from the Sommerfeld number we will get the value of S in terms of seconds per minute. Actually this is unitless, but keep it in terms of seconds per minute because the different graphs are meant for the same value. Okay, next, coefficient of friction according to Mecky's equation. Okay, L by D is 1.5. It lies between this constraint, hence delta F is equals to 0.002. Okay, this is the correction factor. Similarly, Ka value is 0.195 into 10 raised to 6. Okay, substitute the values of all unknown parameters in the Mecky's equations to find the value of coefficient of friction, that is F. Okay, once you get the value of F, just write it down. Next is minimum film thickness. How to find MFT? Okay, if you go for graph, that is figure 15.9 from page number 356. Okay, if you open the page, if you open the graph, that is 356 page number. So there, if you check the value of S, that is x-axis 9.509, this is the value which you got here. Similarly, beta is equal to 360. You can directly assume beta is equal to 360 degrees. Okay, so corresponding these two values, if you check for the y-axis, MFT, that is H0 by C is equals to 0.9, you will be getting. Okay, so this is from the graph value. Similarly, if you multiply, if you need to find the value of H0, that is C, you know, just multiply here, you will get the value of H0. Next step is heat generated. Hg is equals to FWV. Okay, V you can find into pi dN by 1000, that is 3.3. Okay, you know F, W and V, you can substitute the value to get the value of Hg. Okay, next is heat dissipation. Okay, this is the formula which you will be getting from the data handbook. We have assumed here the operating temperature is 70 degrees, that means bearing temperature. Okay, 70 minus 15 divided by 2. Since here this is very much important, here it is bearing temperature minus air temperature, but we assume here operating temperature minus air temperature. Hence we have to take an average of those two, that is T0 minus TA divided by 2. Average in the sense difference of these two. Okay, so TB minus TA. Now this delta T value remains as 27.5. You can now substitute back here to find the value of heat dissipation. Okay, so now you have to check for the artificial cooling whether it is required for the bearing or not. Okay, now if you check whether Hg is greater than or Hd. Okay, if Hg is greater than Hd, artificial cooling is required. If you make a difference of these two, you will be getting the value this much. So this much amount of artificial cooling is required for the bearing. So thank you guys. This completes the exact design problem for the lubrications.